So today we're gonna speak about how to acquire skills and top tools, which is like some of the tools as a product manager you all should know how to use it, so that when you land into a job or you are working, you are not struggling there. Some of the framework or prioritization I will showcase. I'll not explain how to use them, but I will showcase when to use them and at what kind of an time zone you can use them. So that these are kind of quick hacks that if you could apply, that would be helpful if somebody is into product management. Then understanding your skill gaps. The second part of this session would be how to become a PM from any background. In that, the first thing we will decode is understanding your skill gaps. Like if you are a domain from sales, finance, tech or anything, how you will identify which are the skills that is mapping with the product management, right? And once you do that, you will able to understand what is your gap, and then accordingly you can go ahead and fill those gaps, right? Then again, a pathway to product management from different domain, how you can do it, and then some of the strategies I will discuss. And then the third portion would be the how to create a portfolio. I'll showcase some portfolio, how it works, and some of the tips on the resume. Right? Sounds good, guys? Are you all okay with this? Anything am I missing that you want to discuss?
Good to go.
Good to go. Great. Okay, so what is the one topic out of this 4 topic that you want most to be covered?
Probably becoming PM from any background and how to acquire skills for that.
Okay, great. So
Because resumes and all differ from country to country, so we can always take tips on that, but this is what is required. That's what I feel.
5 and 6. What about others?
It's number 5 for me. How to become a PM from any background.
Okay, great, Abhishek. 6. So 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Okay, good. 4 and 6. Okay, acquiring right skill. Okay, 5, 6, 7. Okay, great. So I have to concentrate on the later half mostly. Point number 7, yes, we will cover. So okay, so now that I got some kind of an understanding what you all are looking for, so I will quickly move ahead into these sections and I'll spend a little bit more time on this so that you will understand about it. Right, so yesterday we left off the session in understanding the case studies. So I will just walk you through quick 2 case studies. One case study would be from Apple, basically. Now this case study is regarding your Apple has recently launched in October about a call record feature, right? Now this call record feature was there with Android for a longer time. Like you can see the Twitter reactions here, right? Let me switch on if I can have turn on the pen. Yeah, where is the pen? Okay, so you can see some of the Twitter reaction, right? People are laughing that now Apple is launching call record when Android has done it in 2012. Somebody has some problem on I tested it when the call stopped. So this is the Twitter reaction when Apple did. Now this case study will help you a little bit. This is a little bit of a senior case study where how you will deal with the certain features which you supposed to launch way back, almost 6-7 years or maybe 10 years ago, but you did not launch it because of certain limitations. But now you are launching it, and then how would be the strategy that you actually talk about to the people that why you're launching now, right? So it's a little bit of a senior case study, but I wanted to capture it so that I want to give you that feel that how the kind of an messaging is important when you are working as a product manager, right? So messaging in product management is very, very important, and it also comes from leaders. And as a product manager, you have to be the smartest person in that group in making the message. So let's first understand why Apple could not able to launch, or maybe they could not prioritize it. The probable reason for delay. One is the ecosystem and UX. So the Apple ecosystem is a closed one, right? It is very much centralized. Okay. and I'll tell you why it is centralized compared to Android, and that gives Android the benefit to launch it faster. Now, since it is centralized, Apple has to take care of the overall regulatory and compliance requirement, which is GDPR of EU, Data Protection Act of multiple states. So you can see here European Union, United States, China, they all have their data protection. In India, we also have a Data Protection Act, right? So many US firm has to come in the background, has to go and get compliant with the Data Protection Act. So now if supposedly a call recording feature is again a purely a data thing, right? Now if they have to launch in EU, they need to ensure that this regulatory compliance of GDPR is met. But and again it is a centralized. So mark the word centralized. So if they have to open that ecosystem to build that feature, or they have to build that feature, they have to ensure that particular feature is launched in multiple geographies. Geography EU, UK, maybe India, China, there is, and then even in US they have their thing. But how can Android do it in 2012, and why Apple can't do it? So because it was a centralized thing, launching in every geography was a challenge. So it's a purely a technical thing that they have to develop within the backend system to ensure that they are adhering to this regulatory compliance, right? Just because they are centralized. Now what did Android do? Now Android was an open source. It was always an open source. So what did Android do? Android has actually passed on the manufacturing rights to say some company in China, right? Now that particular manufacturer is actually manufacturing that phone and giving the call recording feature, which is adhering to China only. Okay, and similarly somebody in EU is manufacturing phone, they are actually adhering to the EU GDPR thing. Okay, so for Android it become very easy because they are decentralized compared to Apple, right? So for that they could have launched it in 2012, right? But for if you are working in this kind of a situation, so it's very important that these are also a blocker for you. We call it a blocker, right? Maybe Apple could have launched it when Android did it, but Apple could not because they have to spend a huge amount of investment into this particular feature. So they found that this feature can be launched later. So if Apple has decided not to do it or something, then why did Apple did it right now, right? So why did Apple did it right now? So let's understand that. And these are something and hypothesis that I have made. This is something that I have went through certain news and the blogs and other things, and I could able to figure it out. So why Apple did now is specifically first reason is the user demand. User was always demanding this feature, call recording feature, right? Unlike Android, but there is not there. So now the user demands was quite high, right? Very high completely. And then again a comparison comes up with an Android because iOS and Android is capturing almost 80-90% of the market share. So these are the two major reasons that Apple has to fix it. But now Apple has already fixed it because now this AI part has came up. Right now what this AI is doing, that you need data to mine more, to become more intelligent, right? So if Apple gives this call recording feature, they will have more data to mine, to create more models in LLMs, which is called the large language model. So this is more technical, I don't want to go there, but so now that Apple has realized that AI has came in, and then there is a high competition with the user demand and the comparison competition, Apple has actually gone ahead and anyhow launched it, and they have launched it with certain friction kind of a thing. So what is that is like they have initially launched it only with English, right? So that is once, and then slowly they will phase the role with the regional languages. Okay, now this is a point, right? Now how would Apple respond to this? So when Apple launched this particular product, they actually mentioned that they need to launch this product because they are integrating with Apple AI, Apple Intelligence, and again there were certain churn out. But the look at the beauty of the strategic response. Now they are using that they have to do it. They are not telling that they can't do it, but they are telling that I have to do it because now there is a good number of user demand and competition, and also to make Apple intelligence more beautiful, I have to do it. So, and that is the strategic response. And currently they are doing a phased rollout. So even that feature of call record is still not I would say in a very lovable product or the best kind of a product, right? But they have still rolled out it, right? But this is a kind of a strategic kind of a thought process, and sometimes these kind of things happens as well. Okay, any questions on this case study? Anything? Okay, I'll move to the next one. This is interesting. This is a very recent topic, right? So, Blinkit recently launched that you can upload the picture of your shopping list, right? And you can actually build your cart much faster. They're telling 10x faster, which is true. If a certain thing happens, then the cart building would become easier. But why still it is in beta phase? Why it is still not launched in a completely proper way? And this is my take. Okay, this is my take. This is nothing that somebody from Swiggy or somebody from Apple has told this to me. This is based on my research and my thing. And if anybody want to challenge it, I would love to have more discussion on it. So now this is the take, right? So now suppose how you generally build your cart. You go into Swiggy app, you actually search for atta. Say suppose I want to purchase atta, which is a wheat flour. I want to purchase this, and now I generally use Ashirwad is a brand name, so I use this atta and I can see this, right? And I just select the option, or I click this add to cart, or select option and then add to cart, right? So this is how technically we do it. But now what Blinkit is saying is this. So here is where Funny Kishan, who is the I think CPO or the CEO, I could not remember that, has actually said that now you can load the and this is the video which was there in this tweet of Funny, that this is what we have done and it is in a beta phase, right? Now the challenge here, I'll show you the challenge. The first challenge, the list what that they updated is mostly written in English. Messages. Okay, Rahul raised hands. Go ahead, Rahul. Ask the question.
Hey, sorry, I was talking on mute when you wanted to take questions on Apple thing. I think as I understand what you were trying to suggest, right? So this call recording feature is somehow linked to the AI thing which they are launching, and as I understand, I think it is only supported for the newer model of iPhones which are coming from Apple's, Series 16. So does it mean the older versions will not have this call recording feature then?
So I use Apple 12, okay, iPhone 12, and I can have that. I have that feature. So basically, it is any phone which has this iOS 18.1, the model which support this version of the SDK will have that call recording feature.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I understood it differently. Then I thought it is somehow linked to the new Apple Intelligence which they are launching, right? And it is somehow linked to the RAM which they are supporting, and it's not supported for models which have 6 GB of RAM, and it is only having supported for models which are having 8 GB of RAM, which is like 15 Pro and then 16 series onward. So that's why I wanted to check.
This is not on that. This is the case study was more about strategic messaging that Apple has put out into the most of the newsletters and everything, right? That why they are launching now and why they could not able to do it. And the reason why he presented that case study, which is a little senior case study, is because messaging part, right? As a product manager, you need to always message to your stakeholders, to your even into sometimes into PR as well. So at that point in time, you need to know how to deliver the message in a way which does not harm the brand as well as the product. So that's it, right? So quickly moving into this, right? Now we are discussing about the shopping list, right? And now it is still in beta phase. And Funny Kishan, who is the CEO, I think CEO or CPO, I could not recall, my bad, has shared this quick video link where they're showing how a shopping list can be uploaded, and that is what. So I took a screenshot of that, and see here the initial thing is the shopping list is in English, which is easily readable and can be parsable, can be parsed properly. Now another challenge you will see, this is a Bengali version of a shopping list where it is called potato here for 1 kg. In Bengali it is written aloo, which is basically 1 kg of aloo, which is potato, need to be done. Now I'll tell you the challenges, right? So let's move on to the challenges. The number one challenge is the scalability, right? Let's see how the flow would look into if you are loading an uploads list. So as of now, this green box says how it works today, right? How you order through Blinkit or say Swiggy today or through Amazon today mostly. So you manually select the product, you prepare the cart, and then you actually make the payment, and then the data goes to warehouse, then the pickup happens, then hand to delivery agents, and then it gets delivered to you. This is current model. So this model is not going to change, right? With this auto shopping cart building through uploading a list or a message, right? So now what is happening with this particular feature, you will not go manually select the product, rather you will write it in a pen and paper like this, right? And you will upload a photo. So once you do an image, right, if it is in English, you can actually, the system can do a quick OCR and a parsing data, and then understand brand preferences and can prepare the cart. Now the first problem is the scalability, right? Now even if it is done in English and can be done, one of the challenge for them would be how regional languages can be decoded to an understandable system languages, right? So this yellow part that I have built is the scalability. Now if you could support Bengali, if you could support Hindi, if you could support Kannada, if you support Tamil, then more and more people will start using it, right? So that is the scalability, but there is a challenge on this, right? So regional language decoding and that's why still that is being worked around. Maybe Blinkit can launch it much faster, since they have already launched this pipeline. This pipeline mostly launched, right? Now this is one of the challenge, right? That this is not getting launched so fast, and this will certainly increase your cart preparation thing. What is another problem statement that can happen? Another problem statement is very important, understanding brand preferences. Now let's see what is this challenge. Here, if you see in the first screen, I am ordering a wheat flour. We call it atta, right? And I prefer Ashirvad brand to buy. Now when I am uploading in a kind of a shopping list, I will not write Ashirvad atta. I will just write atta because that is, for me, it is given, right? I'll atta 5 kg. I'll write like this if I have to write it, right? Now let's see what's the challenges. Let's see what that text says. So what I did, I went to swiggy.com stores, Instamart, and I select this atta, this brand of wheat flour, atta Ashirvad. So you can see here I marked this as an yellow, and this is I marked it as an yellow. So in their link you can see two problem statements. One, you can see here, this is the product, this particular product. You can see here the Ashirvad atta has a code, internal code, and it happens through multiple systems and everything, right? And since it is a quick commerce, which means you get the order within the 10 minutes, right? So there is a nearby store or a warehouse which is there. So this particular ID, product ID, internal product ID should match with this particular store ID, because when you place the order, they take your geolocation, and based on that they allocate the code. Because if you see here, I search for another brand wheat flour which is called Pillsbury atta. See, this number is getting changed from here, this number is different, right? And then the store ID is the same, 1374258, and here 1374258. Okay, I did not go to their backend and everything, I did it with the Google. Okay, very simple. So now if you understand these two areas, so that means whatever brand you purchase, right, if you write in your shopping list atta or a wheat flour, then after parsing the data you can actually get it as a wheat flour or atta. Now how do you know that I as a person would only need Ashirwad atta? This is the brand I need, right? I don't need Pillsbury. That is again biggest challenge in this particular process, right? So what they have to do is have to understand the customer brand preferences. Means they will create a database to understand how many orders you have placed and check what kind of, and like how many times you have placed wheat flour orders and which brand you have selected, right? And based on that they might create some kind of a logic behind it. Okay, I will not use the word AI here, but they will create certain logic behind it to pick the brand preference. Or there might be after you upload, there might be an instruction going to the customer saying that I have added these items in your cart, XXXX item in your cart, just check if that looks good or not, right? So again, a touch point of the customer will come. That can also be possible, right? So this is something that as a product manager you all should know, that these are the kind of challenges, and how do you break down the challenges is something like this. You don't need, at this point of time I'm not going through any backend tech scalability or something, but at least these are the basic kind of an these are the basic kind of an problem statement that you can figure it out, that this can happen, right? So this is something that you all should try to do, and you will see the changes, and what something coming up into the, say, some news article or blog post. If you start to do this kind of a thing, you will able to understand how the system works in the back end and how these areas happens. How do you all think, like, is this case study helping you, or it is making you more confusing? Okay, only Sakshi. Makes sense. What about others? Ashish, please speak up.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I think I'm audible. I think this is an interesting thing by Swiggy, not by Blinkit. This is by Swiggy actually. They are trying to do this, not the Blinkit guy. And I think it taken as a product manager here for me at least one, a good marketing, because the person is an influencer. They asked Gabbar to post a tweet, and then they followed up on the tweet by the co-founder of Swiggy Smart. So it's like creating that buzz in the market, that what is the requirement. Now when Gabbar posted the tweet, it's more about Gabbar is Abhishek Asthana. He is like
That's true.
Yeah. So when he posted the tweet, that the whole idea was like, oh, there is a requirement in the world, and the requirement was identified hopefully by some product manager. In that sense, typically we used to buy this way. They will create a list, especially the and please don't take me around that. Okay, I'm mentioning someone, but especially the house lady will prepare the list. She will give the list to someone who is going to buy, or she herself is going to buy, but there is a list. She will go to the market and she will buy using the list. Or typically in a tier 2 city, they'll give list to the grocer, to the kirana store, and the kirana store will send the product based on the list which is written, without the brand name in there, without the flavor being there. It's not interesting. It's not about brand name. It's not only about brand name, like, okay, you need Ashirwad, you need 5 kg packet, and you need which flavor of Ashirwad. Like there are multiple. Now that's where the intelligence Because the grocer typically knows what goes to your house.
Right.
And that's where the things happen. And the second thing is grocer doesn't know what goes to, and that's the same thing being replicated by Swiggy. If they know what is being done, that will be the first search result. And if you see the video, there are multiple search results. So they've taken the user experience pretty well. They've
Right.
taken the study to the next level. They are doing the user experience right now. Maybe I hope in future they will not even give the full list and they will just repeat what you have ordered in past if they have the enough search history. If not, showing you the search result of multiple items, the user practically the point is, and guys, just for introduction, I have worked in grocery myself a little bit, but a practical thing which happens, a grocer knows you stay at a home which is next to the school gate with the light bulb broken in the front. They don't know anything about you. They know about your family. They know everything.
Right.
And that's where people are not able to break out. Like over the years, grocery is something which Indian over here able to break out because the intelligence of the grocer. That is what is getting into now. That is what Swiggy or Blinkit are getting into now. Is your intelligence and like literally detecting what to order for your family. And that's an intelligent, like that's a really, really nice feature if it works. I'm not sure how many people are still writing it because there are multiple things. There's a shopping list. There are lots of things.
Yep.
They
Absolutely.
will move one by one. But typically, I remember this case study being discussed in some of the forums a few months back, or in fact earlier, where the whole perspective was coming that I have a cook, he or she comes at home, he puts up a list, get me these things, and now I have to sit and order. So that was the user story I remember from where the use case came back in terms of mistakes.
Correct. Thank you, Ashish, for putting.
So now someone has given me task. So thanks.
Yeah, this is really good explanation, right? Like how a particular thing, right? Literally, like this is where the thing is, right? Great point, Ashish. Anybody want to discuss? I remember such similar feature was launched as WhatsApp Geo Quick Commerce link as well. Okay, I was not aware of this. This can be a strategy to increase AOV. Yes, possibly. If possibly that is kind of an indirect link, but this is more of a, as Ashish told, right? Like this is incredibly faster. Like they will able to make it, and the strategy to do it, like they already partner with one of the influencer in Twitter, which is Gabbar Singh. And Asthana, I think Rahul Asthana, I forget his name. So, and through that they created the buzz around it. But these are the challenges they are still figuring out, to be very honest. Yeah. Okay, Ashish, can you just repeat what you said in summarized version? People saying that your voice was got muffled.
Sorry, I'll just help it. From a product manager's perspective, few things just I'm taking as a learning from this case study, and I hope people will understand. One, understand the customer demand. So they understood the customer demand. The customer demand can be someone, be it the house help or be it the lady or someone, is actually preparing a list. So that was the customer requirement, which Amit told about yesterday, understand what customer actually needs.
Yes.
Second thing which happened out here is someone whom say is a good product manager converted that demand as a product solution. So how do I convert that requirement to be solved for the customer? Now he showed the architectural diagram, the process flow. So that process flow will keep on improving. But the perspective is there's a demand. Someone went to get a product market fit, and that's why the product is in beta. They have done some sort of solution which will be iterative. So they've shown the search results right now or tomorrow. As we can see on the chat messages, people are saying it will be history or other ML algorithms which will actually recommend what you are buying. Practically, recommendation can be basis your particular location in tier 2. The assortment is very simple, basis a mohalla, a locality. So it becomes very easy to suggest because most of the people are buying 3 or 4 SKUs. Then the next thing is making it deliver to the customer. So making your feature known to the customer, which again, I'm taking your notes yesterday, is
Yeah.
basically involving the stakeholder and making them know that yes, as a customer, as a stakeholder, this feature is coming up. So what the product managers and the marketing team has done a brilliant game is launching it through a demand like that Twitter or that involving the influencers, showing that okay, there's a customer who is Gabbar in this case has a demand. So showing the complete user story in a real life, and then just coming up and that co-founder coming up and saying that, oh, I heard you, I'm solving it for you. So
Right.
see the co-founder so the story for a product manager is understand the demand, they converted it the demand, and then they are actually showing the user story in front of you in their Twitter account.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for pitching in, Ashish, on that. Does this clear out, guys? Ashish has really put these pointers very well. Just give a thumbs up, yeah, like if you all understood what Ashish told. Quick. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, great people. Good.
Can you tell in like few words in a short description what he has explained? I think his voice was muffling a lot in between, so really couldn't understand many things.
Okay, so yesterday what I told, as a product manager, you need to understand customer first, right? If you all attended. The second point I told that you need to understand deep understanding of customer, you need to have a deep understanding of data, you have to deep understanding of the market, and you also have to have a deep understanding of the kind of your stakeholders, right? Or your leaders and their constraints.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So what Ashish helped us to understand is that there is a customer who came up and actually placed a say that, hey, you know what, like I have to place this manually, it's quite time consuming. And even in tier 1 or tier 2, if somebody who is not so tech savvy, right, they don't know how to place an order through that, they will ideally, write it in a piece of paper what they need and hand it over to the kirana store. Okay, or what is a kirana store? Is a grocery store, right? So the grocery store, so they will hand it over to the grocery store. Now the grocery store has to read that, and generally what they do, even in this pen and paper thing, what happens there also, they read it as a atta only, but or a wheat only, but the kirana store or this grocery shop owner is so much accustomed with your way of buying thing that they know that when you have said wheat flour, they know which one it is, right? So that can be mimicked. So there is a customer demand that has came up, there is a use case that has came up, and this is how in tier 2 tier 3 cities things happens in normal way, right? So to mimic that feature, this is where what the beauty they have done, there is still challenges, like I've explained you the challenges, like the one challenges is the scalability, one challenges is the customer brand preferences, those challenges. Now as a product manager, what they do is the first thing that they understood that there is a demand, they understood that the customers would need in tier 2 tier 3 tier 4 cities if we launch this product some kind of this kind of behavior where they write in a pen and paper and hand it over to the grocery store. So they understood the customer demand much better there. They also, what they do now, they have to build this, which is a very complex tech system. Now at this point of time they might not have that data, but they started doing a market sentiment test, or like how people are reacting and how people will take this feature, right? Because this will be a good kind of an investment that they can, if they have to build it, there is lot complexity inside it, and there is a good. So what they did, they quickly launched a campaign in the Twitter through Gabbar Singh. Gabbar Singh is a Twitter influencer whose name is Rahul Asthana, I believe, and what he did is like they did a great job with the marketing. The product manager in Instamart, along with their marketing team, they have partnered with Gabbar Singh, who is a good influencer in Twitter, and Gabbar tweets about that, hey, if it would be better if I could get it in this way, and then immediately the co-founder Funny has actually showcased a video that, hey, you asked me, I did it for you, right? Now with that, what it happened, it become a kind of a market, it's kind of an I would say a sentiment test, that how people are reacting, and people started reacting very well on that, right? Somebody also mimicked, somebody also think, but they found that okay, now the market has a demand of this. Now they understood the customer part, what the customer is looking, they also understood the demand part, right? Now what is left? Now they have to go to the Swiggy leadership and tell them that hey, this feature is working and we need it fast, right? Now they have to tell the stakeholder in a way that okay, you know what, this is where the customer demand is and this is what the market sentiment is, because we ran a small campaign and I found this is the level of traction we got on this particular feature. Now they beautifully did this, and they now have the all, maybe the blessing from the leadership team from Swiggy to build this feature. So this is what Ashish was actually trying to say. Ashish, please correct me if I have gone wrong somewhere.
Good, Abhay. I think, sorry, my mic was not clear earlier and I didn't realize it. I think you summarized pretty well.
Okay, guys, does this help?
Yes.
Yeah, please speak up. Please give some energy. Otherwise, it will be like one-sided discussion only. Please either react or either speak out or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's much better.
Yeah, cool. So does this two case study help you all to understand some different perspective, how the company or as a product manager you need to operate?
Yes, very wonderful case studies selected. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now moving to the few parts, sorry for this, how to acquire skills and top tools, right? So I'll just quickly move into this. This is a very big chart, right? So I have did is try to summarize as a product manager which are the areas you need to work, and in each of the area there is always some feedbacks or documentation or something that need to be captured for you to operate in a better way, right? You cannot go and search the data in multiple areas, right? So though it will be there in the multiple areas, but you know where it is. So what I did, like some of the things that I did is, like if you're building a product strategy or a roadmap, I think Notion has also built that feature, so you can also create it in Notion, and it is a free tool. And why I'm telling this, somebody who is already a product manager and working in a company, the internal company already have these tools, right? Having an understanding of these tools will help you to perform your job much better. And if you are an aspiring PM who is kind of trying to learn about product management, so for them this is more important, because they would start using these tools which are free. I have marked them which are free, right? Start using them and start learning them, because whenever if you launch in any kind of a startup or any big tech, one of these or 3 or 4 5 of these you will certainly use, right? So this picture tells you, like if you have building a product strategy, you can build it with Notion, AHA roadmaps, Jira. Jira has also launched this new product called Product Discovery, so you can use this, and then also in the Miro. So these are all mostly paid version, but you can use Notion to build a product strategy. And somebody for aspiring PMs, this is like also helping you to build portfolio, right? If you want to build your portfolio, you can use this. Analytics and user insight. So if you want to understand how the analytics works, or the user insight, you can just go and log into Google. It is free, and they also have a dummy database. So to analyze and like how users move around the website, what is the the click-through rate and everything, where the user are dropping, you can use Google Analytics, because they have a dummy database, and you can play around with this database to figure out more and more insights, right? So but Mixpanel in Amplitude is also there, which is again a paid version. Then project and task management. Every product management, so any product that you build will have small projects or tasks that need to be completed. Now how do you manage that? So most of the organization we have a Jira ticket, Like yesterday I explained about the themes, epics, stories, then user story, then feature, right? So this whole thing need to be tracked. Where do you track? You track here in Jira. Then there is a Trello board. Trello board is something like there is a kind of an cheat, like small, slots of data that you can write, and then there is like in progress, or need to start, in progress, or completed, and then you just move this card from one board to another board as the particular task happens. Sorry for this. Designing and prototype. This is very important because one of the a new tool that has mostly came up is Figma, and it's beautiful. So it is free, but it has a limit, I think. But within the limit, you can actually build your hands-on into this, and you can learn about like how to do a design and prototyping. Like if you see my earlier things, right? This particular chart or this particular diagram that I have drawn, I have used draw.io. It is free, and I mostly used this in my career a lot. So I prefer more draw.io than Figma, but this is good. Then there is Miro. There is another design and prototype tool is called Balsamic, which is also free for I think 30 days or something. If you sign up, you get it for 30 days or 7 days free, and you can keep your hands rolling around it if you want to create some prototype, which I have not included into this list, but just recalled there is there. Documentation and knowledge. So as a product manager, one of the things that you always need to do is to document, right? So what do you do in the documentation part? So you write about status report, right? You write about a certain strategy, or you write PRDs, or you write some kind of user stories, maybe in a document. So you always have to document everything. So documentation and knowledge management, you can do it in Confluence. Most of the large tech organization has Confluence, and even today in my day-to-day things, I use Notion. So you can start using Notion for your day-to-day thing. You don't have to wait to become a product manager, but you can use this tool to get hands-on. I'm sorry, just give me a moment. Okay. Any question till now? Cool. Then you can also gather customer feedbacks and survey through SurveyMonkey's Google Form. Google Form is completely free. Even I use it. Even I will be sharing Google Forms with you all to fill in the feedback. And then there is a type form, which is little advance of Google Form, where there is a logic based question. So if you say if the person answer A, then so 1 and 2 question. If the customer answers B, then so 3 and 4 questions. So to type from, you can build all those things, but it is a paid version. And then communication, everybody knows Slack, Zoom, and then there is a company specific tool. And for data analysis, everybody use MX Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL. So these are the areas, like at least in data analysis, I would request you to start getting hands-on for the aspiring PMs on these areas. Learn how to use Power BI, Tableau, SQL, NoSQL codes, so that you don't struggle when you are actually doing the customer analysis, right? Okay, so with this we'll move into framework and prioritization, which is and a kind of an hack to use them. Okay. Any questions so far? Any question? No, I take it as a no, then I move it. Can you all see this chart? Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I will just showcase you 4 of the model. Most of the model are used, like people know about RISE, Kano, and AA, RRR. I have included must, which is not a must core, but it's a must. This is mostly used for B2B, because yesterday there was somebody who was asking me for B2B, how to prioritize and everything. So that's why I've included this. So when to use RISE, so I'm not explaining how to use RISE and how to do the calculation and everything, but I'll tell you when to use it, right? When you have a very limited influence, like yesterday's in the Slack example when I gave, you got 4 features that you need to prioritize, right? And you know certainly because you already have a backup of yeah, Vivian, please go ahead. You have a question.
Yeah, is my voice audible?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, so sorry, I was how to raise the hand. I was my question was like, I know basic SQL. So right now I'm interning somewhere as a product manager. So I know basic SQL, but that's not enough for me to write SQL codes and figure out the users or what kind of data I want to figure out from the complex tables and complex data we have. So for that I need to master the SQL. So for that I don't want to pay anything because I've already invested enough in a lot of study materials. So I want to master the SQL, but I'm not able to figure out how can I do that, because in YouTube channel there are a lot of YouTubers only teaching the SQL, but I want something that I can practice along with that video, so that I can have a database or anything that a YouTuber can tell me from which database I can practice that SQL, like a basic database or any sample database, something like that.
Got it. Vivian, what you can do is like you can you can join our group, the WhatsApp group, and you can ping this question there, and I will share you some resources there, which will I will ask few questions to clarify more of your requirement, and then I will share some of the free materials for you to easily understand this.
Yeah, I'm already in the group, so I will message definitely there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any questions before I jump on this slide again?
Yeah, can someone share the link of the group?
Okay. Let me share that.
I'll share in the chat.
Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer. Please share it on the chat. Okay. So let me explain you. So RISE model, prioritization model, everybody knows that we have to use RISE, and this is how it is done. But typically when to use. So yesterday when I was explaining this Slack use cases, like how it happened, and then there was some 4 features that we listed, right? Now RISE can be the best model to use there, right? In case your company does not have any other model or do not have any internal way of prioritizing things, you can use RISE model, because that is what it means by limited influence, and then you will actually able to prioritize this based on the ratings. So once you do the ratings, it comes as like 666 or 700 or 463, like it's calculated based on thousands, below thousands. So you will get that, and based on this number you can prioritize. This is not like you can, okay, one thing, like you should not take, even if the priority 1 has came a feature A, that does not mean that is must to do, right? You still need to evaluate other areas and the segment. But what RISE metrics or the prioritization framework will help you to do, at least figure out that, okay, out of these 4 I should focus on this particular point, right? And then go more deeper into it. And then this framework will also help you to attain stakeholder expectation. So if a stakeholder asks you why you want to do with this particular feature, why not the other 3 features, you can say that, through this model RISE I have actually achieved, and this is where it is. So this will also help you to get buy-ins if you use some proven frameworks in your work. Okay. So when to use RISE, based for prioritization of features. If there are features, if there is some initiative, you can use it, but mostly it can be for features and then with a limited influence and for prioritization. So these are the kind of an, you can keep it as a rule book kind of a thing, or kind of a mindset, so that you can make a call that should I use RISE, should I use Kano, should I use the Pirate matrix, which is this is called a Pirate matrix, acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, and all those, right? So you can use it. So now moving into the Kano model. In the Kano model, basically mostly used when you are building a new product, right? So the use case that we took, right, building the shopping cart with an image, right? Now that particular use case, if you see, it's a kind of a feature, but I'll take it as a product as of now. Okay, just to simplify things. So supposedly that's a product, and now your customers like Swiggy or Blinkit or Zepto is already serving the customer, right? The customers are actually going manually and preparing the cart today, right? Now what the Kano model can do, like, will help you to differentiate underserved, please remember this word, underserved pain points. What do you mean by underserved? Because these pain points, the customer pain points, are already been addressed by, say, Blinkit or Zepto, but they are still underserved, and this feature will actually targeting that small bit of underserved zone, right? So that they get a product penetration as well as they can actually make this thing happen. So Kano model helps you do this kind of an activity, and it is best if you use it for a new product, not for something we discussed with Slack mostly, right? But you can still use in that. Does not mean that you cannot use it. You can still use Kano model and you can do much better right there as well. So it is best for prioritization, feature and initiatives. Then there is an interesting model which is called a MUS model, and this is mostly used in B2B. This is for B2B mostly. So it starts with a mission, company mission, like what the company want to achieve, or if it is a service based, or it's kind of an say software based, right? So what is the mission of it? Then it broken down into strategy, like what is the strategy we will use to acquire this much of, say, maybe 100 million contract, right? So this is the mission for, say, 2025, right? Then you actually look out the strategies, like what are the strategy 1, 2, 3 that is actually helping you achieve this mission. And then there are tactics, how you will implement these strategies or the tactics to sell the product to gain this mission. So that is where this model is used. This is called mission, strategy and tactics. Okay, so I just call this out. I'll not teach you like how to use it, but at this point in time, but if somebody wants to learn, just ping me on the group. I will share some resources. This everybody knows, AA, triple R, which is called a pirate metric also. This is mostly used along with RISE as well. And this is also to prioritize opportunity. Building team consensus is the best way to do this money. Now this is a very important. Sometimes you need to convince your engineers, sometimes you need to convince your stakeholders or designers or many people, sales, right? Now this particular metric of AA, acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, another one is there. So it helps you tackle out that which area the pain point is, right? And accordingly you can use it. You can also use this for building a new product, right? If your competitors are very good at these 3 level and they are not that good at this level, you can target that, the activation is the the pain point. Like in most of the fintech startups, right, activation is one of the biggest pain point, because you have to go through KYC, KYB or AML, many things, right? So this can be a kind of a breaker. So this is how you can able to use this. So how many of you think that this chart helps you to decide, will help you actually? Give a quick yes, no, speak up. Anup, Ashish, yeah, Kunal. Cool, cool. Okay, helpful. So we are almost 1 hour past. I'll try to keep it in another 1 hour. Let's move to the next slide. Right. Okay, so this is cohort program structure. I will discuss about this later because I need to capture other pointers which people has actually said 5, 6, 7. So let's understand, like, this is the slides that, like, this section is like how to where it is here. This is like how to transition to PM. This is for most of to PM, right? So in this slide, what I have to try to do is try to list down the kind of skills that as a salesperson you already have and that can also be leveraged in product management. As a techie or a tech developer or a QA you already has can be leveraged. As a customer success team you already have and can be leveraged in product marketing and finance. So if you all want, take a screenshot of this quickly because this will help you if you are not in a product role and you are aspiring to move, right? Take a screenshot of this. So what does it says? Like, let's take an example, and let me take my example only from the finance background. There can be for supply chain also. Supply chain, basically I haven't covered it up, but supply chain includes most of the projects and works in a project basis, and there are certain goals also, like, you know, kind of we call it SOP, standard. This is not a standard operating procedure, it's supply planning basically. So if you are in part of these roles, so you will, these are the kind of transferable skills you also have being into a supply chain role. So let's take the example of finance, right? Like, I'll take my example. So when I joined, when I started my career, I was purely into debits and credits. So for example, if a user purchase 100 rupees of thing, then what should be the debit and the credit, right? So I used to do that kind of a role. Now how I move into product management, and that too in tech, right? So that's a long story. I'll just quickly say. So let's first see what are the skills that I have. I was good in financial modeling because from being accountant, what I did is I moved into financial planning role. I become Nike India head for treasury, right? So I acquired some banking knowledge there. I acquired the financial planning there, right? Planning there. And I also worked on some kind of a business called school shoe business, and where I helped them contribute to the overall revenue from 2% to 5%. So this was my pure finance journey. So at this point of time when I was doing this, I was never aspiring to become a product manager, but this is what my kind of a thing. So during this phase, what I learned is basically I learned financial modeling, I learned budget management or creating budgets, like annual budget for marketing, annual budget for, you know, sales team. And due to which what it helped me is to talk with people who does sales, who does marketing, who does supply chain, and understand their like expenditure or revenue. Mostly for sales there is revenue, right? So how much revenue they are targeting, and then talking. So I understand ROI analysis, like, okay, if the sales team is asking for 20, say sales team is asking for say 200k of funding in discount to increase the sales to say 10 million, right? Now I am the person, I should check that, okay, does this 200k worth 10 million return, right? So I did ROI analysis and everything. So during this phase, these are my transferable skill, because when you become a product manager, you also need to understand the PNL of the product. Now what is the PNL of the product? I'll just quickly highlight this. So there is a revenue part of your product, there is a cost part of your product. Now cost can be fixed, like your tech architecture or XYZ something, and then how your product is making a revenue. So I was more concentrated over here, right? So this gave me an edge. So this was my kind of skills which was transferable when I was going into product management. Okay. Similarly, for marketing, if you all go, somebody is in marketing is already know how the branding and positioning happens, how to do a user persona development. They also might work into go to market, content creation, storytelling, right? For the sales, they are making the sales, right? They are understanding objection handling of their customer. Like the customer can say that, hey, I don't want to buy this product, right? So they can understand this. Yes, Gopal, it's also applied to consulting also, because in consulting you are technically helping with the mindset of sales and the marketing as well. So and also you need to touch base with tech and other people, right? So in this similarly for tech, like this is more customer facing role, this is more customer facing role. Customer success is also a customer facing role, where you are understanding deep of the user needs, pain points, empathy, active listening, like somebody calling into your customer care and then they're just bursting out emotions and everything. And some of the customers are very good enough telling that, hey, in your product, if I get XYZ, so as a customer success also, you are actually talking with customers. So these three roles are purely customer facing roles. So you are understanding customer here, and here you are also actually making sales. So this is more better position. As a developer or a tech developer or a QA, you are into most of the product management, as we discussed yesterday in the develop section. You are into the part of the execution. In the whole product life cycle, PDLC, in the discover section, customer success mostly can come into handy. Sales can come into handy. Marketing professions can come into handy. This is in the discover phase, right? In the develop phase, the tech guys can come into play. Like the tech developers or QAs can give more input. And then there is a deliver phase, right? So this is more of an execution. So if you are a developer or a QA, you are actually here. But because of your team structure and everything, you are not getting an exposure to know what is happening in a particular product. Maybe you are working at the end of the hierarchy, so that like here is you, and then above you there is another manager, then above you there is another manager, and this manager is actually talking with product team or other teams, right? So this particular manager has an exposure, but you, when you're working, might not have that exposure, right? So you need to figure out how to sit here and actually parallelly work with them, or how to reach and talk to them, right? Does this slide give you a kind of an understanding, like what kind of skills that you already working into, that you have and can be leveraged in product management? Yes, no, yes, no. Okay. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide. This is an interesting slide, I believe. Ta-da. Yes, so I tried to jot down a flowchart, okay, for you guys to understand much better. So now that you understood in the earlier slide that what are the transferable skills you have, you still need to figure out what are not, and that's what I and my team help you to understand that, right? And this is the kind of a flowchart that I have tried to draw on it based on my understanding. I may be wrong, but just it works. It worked for me, so it will work for you. So let's start with a student. If you're a student, start getting internship. It does not matter whether you are from a top tier institute or a kind of an medium like second tier or third tier institute. Doesn't matter. If you're a student, start getting internship, mostly into kind of a founder office or some kind of a role. Try to update your resume and start applying for job, right? If you land into an PM role, as an APM role, very good, too good, your life is sorted. Then you can build more empire in the product world. If not, then do not stop here. Just go and land into a job. If any student out here, just quickly hand raise. Okay, no
Yes, I
student.
am.
Who is this? Sorry, I.
Meghna.
Okay, so Meghna, if you're a student, right, start getting internship as much as you possible. Start getting some side projects. Don't work for money, but just work to get this experience. Update your resume, apply for PM role. If it works, then it's good. If it does not work, try for a certain timeline based on your risk appetite. Like how many months or year you can, uh, wait to get into a PM role. If you're not getting, just land a job, because you need to be a part of a job or a kind of an environment where you are learning things. If you are a completely fresher and because you want to land into PM and I'll not do job if I don't land into PM, then it will be difficult for you. Now if you are there, then land a job. If you land a job, then you all will come into the same. Like, I think, how many aspiring PMs are there? Just quickly raise hand.
You are on mute, Avik.
Okay, can you just write like which all segment, like how many of are developer here, how many of you all are sales, marketing? Mostly engineer. So let's see, I'll just uh, go on this part. So now if you're working as a developer, and then, so if your team, I don't know how your team structure look like. If your team structure is something like you are a developer or a SDE, right, then there will be an SDM, which is software development manager, or a team lead, something, right? And if you are a team lead, that's also good. Now then the team lead is reporting to SDM. Now most of this software developer manager, your manager who operate in teams, might have multiple products or projects to tackle, right? 1 2 3 4. Now what happens here, if he has a big charter to fill, then generally they hire a middle person here, which is called a TPM, who actually work in summarizing all the charters, like 1 2 3 4 charters, right? Now if there is a TPM in your team, this guy or this lady will actually mostly talk with the product guys. Okay, so if you are here, or if you are here, try to become like, if this role is existing in your organization, try to move into this role, or try to move into this role before you actually go and jump on the product directly, to and talk with these guys, product guys, and understand in parallel, right? So that's what I have written here. So if you are a developer QA, try to move the ladder and find out which layer actually talks with your product team and others, right? Go into that layer. It can be a principal engineer also, right? Get exposure to the product teams, right? Try to directly talk with the product teams. You should be in some of the meetings where the product team comes and tells you some of the features, use cases, explain you those things, and then you ask them questions, because that will help you gain experiences along with the product teams, like how they are thinking, why they are building these use cases, how the customer will use it, and something like that, right? So if you are into this path and you are already getting this, once you get this, then my recommended way, move internally. This is much easier because you build a trust here. When you're working in the parallel with a product manager or product team, you build a trust here. It's a very important factor. So you build a trust here and then you move internally, and then technically you move into either an PM or an APM role. Any questions? Yeah, please ask. Anjali.
Abhi, when you are a developer, but there is no option of being a tech program manager or principal engineer in the company, but the thing is you are already working with the product team and there itself you are a developer. So can we skip that path and directly jump to move internally for being a associate PM?
What was your question? I missed that, Anjali.
If there is no option, there's no option of being a tech program manager or principal engineer, but you're already working with the product managers or probably working with the product team itself to help them. So means I am a developer plus a in a customer success team, basically. So we work with product teams, we work with product managers. We don't have technical program manager, but can we jump that path and directly move to PMs? Like,
do you talk with PMs?
Yeah, daily.
Okay.
On daily basis.
And these product managers are rolling into your manager, or?
Yes.
Okay, so your manager is taking care of PMs as well as
developers too.
Developers too. Cool.
Yes.
Is there a startup?
No. It's a big company. It's just that our product is like that. Like we have multiple people together in one manager, under one manager.
Got it. So now you are here, right? So
yes.
Why did you approach to your manager citing that you want to be part of this group, not in this group?
No, not yet.
Talk with them. But first, before you even talk about it, first build the trust with the manager. It should be that the manager should believe you, right? And also invested in your growth.
Okay.
Then your transition can happen smoother. If any of this factor is missing, then technically they will give you some kind of a reasoning that it's good, let's do it after 2 years or something like
and if not internally, then externally, can we directly jump for applying for jobs with the portfolio?
Yes, absolutely. That's what the second pipeline is. Add portfolio, update your resume, apply for job, and go into PM and APM role.
Got it. Thank you.
Any Harsh, you have a question?
Yeah, hi Avik. So technically, I'm a developer with 2.5 years of experience, and I started out at a startup. And for me, I was already a product owner because it was a startup. I had high autonomy, high ownership, and long ago itself, I had made it clear to my manager that I want to transition. However, due to a change in leadership 1 year down the line, that road of lateral movement sort of closed. But I remained being the sort of the gatekeeper for my product, and spent 2.2 northwards of 2.5 years in that company, including my internship. But since they denied any internal movement, I moved to another company with the mindset that let's experience a different sector and see if I can still continue to gain passive skills, so that eventually I'll move to a PM role. But then it wasn't going that great. So now I am in the second path, right, where I want to apply externally because an internal movement is no longer possible. The main problem that I'm facing is, even for entry-level jobs, which is an APM role, most people are citing a year to 2 years of experience, either as a PM itself or want them to have analyst experience, because that is a natural progression in most firms, which is you are a business analyst or a data analyst and then you move to PM. Or they want them to be pre-MBA or MBA grads. Now that is the current market that I've been seeing for the past 2 months. Still, I took the plunge and I finished my notice at my previous organ line looking at full-time roles of PM. But that is a big gap that I'm seeing. So in convincing people to take a chance on my resume is the biggest problem that I'm facing, because I know if I can get to the interview phase, I am very confident that I can make it work. But going past the initial screening is something that is very difficult, and I've spoken to many people about this. So if you could shed some light and give some advice for that, that would be really helpful.
So which role are you in, or you have already left the job?
I exited on SG2 level.
Okay, so you are onto the developer path, right?
Yes.
And you are not working right now.
No, right now not. Just been under 10 days.
Okay, so then you have to, take this path. You don't have any other option, right? So
correct.
Now since you have, so the best way to do it, which I will explain in the portfolio building session, is you already have worked as a product owner, which I listened to you, right? You already worked as a product owner. So start listing those areas into your resume and storytelling. Build some storytelling over there, because that is something practically you have done it, and that is a real problem that you have worked on. So this will be valued more. Okay.
Correct.
So, and then accordingly you can make the and then when you are like, one thing is, don't apply to 100 jobs every day. Apply to 2 jobs a week, only 2 jobs. Make sure they are within 24 hours of listing in any of the portal, but that should be more pinpointed, very very pinpointed. Your resume should be pinpointed to the job, like at least 80 to 90% match, right? Figure out those 2 jobs and apply, and you will certainly see that there is a traction coming up there if you're not getting any calls or things. But this is a separate topic we can discuss later also. When I will share my feedback form in this group, you will get a chance to book an one-on-one with me. We can discuss in more details over there.
Yeah, that would be really helpful. Like if I could, get a one-on-one and a discussion on the resume as well, since I've spent time on that as well. So would be quite useful.
Yes. So next, I'll just move to the next quickly because of timing. Somi.
Yeah, hi. I actually wanted to know how to move from consulting to product manager. So I'm currently working in a Big Four, but I think product management is more interesting. This is, I thought would be consulting, but yeah. So I wanted to know how to, a lot of people say these are transferable skills, but I still want to know how can someone move there, because I've worked with product managers who were my client, but only one client, but most of them are non-tech products, and mostly I worked with government sector. I think Avik, you're on mute.
If you're on consulting, then you have already talked with customers. Like, what kind of a role are you playing? You need to understand that part, and your resume should, call out based on the job description. That if the job description are asking for a customer kind of an good understanding of customer, I'm making up a thing, right? Now, in your role, you need to highlight that you have a very, very good understanding of a customer through some cases. This was the situation. I'll tell you how to write that in the later slide. So if you can update that and you can start applying for it, you might land into that. But again, use my one-on-one, booking in the feedback form when I'll share to you guys to get into more details. But yes, it is possible. To answer your question in a very simple word, yes, it is possible, absolutely possible to move into PM or an APM, PM or an APM role.
Also, we wanted to add that most of the job description that we see already want product experience in all the.
Yeah, that's where your portfolio will come, and then there are certain strategies that we build for my students, specifically based on the based on the job skill they have or the job experience they have. So particularly if you're consulting from coming from consulting, then when you work with me, or we join the cohort, like maybe you, at that point of time, in one-on-one discussion, will tell you like what are the 3-4 strategies that you can apply to hunt a job, and how can you upgrade your portfolio, showcasing some of the skills which I will cover in the next slide. But book one-on-one call with me, I'll able to help you there in more detail.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, last, Meghna.
Hey, hi, Abik. So currently I'm working as a business analyst, but looking for openings as in more opportunities as an PM. But I wanted to start time as a product analyst where I can have a major exposure as in for product related, right? As in for as I worked as business analyst, has only exposure to the client meetings and all, understanding the requirements and developing the dashboards. Now I wanted to get into as a product analyst. So how come my way could be a path? And when I was applying to my resumes, it is not an hit. So what are the key points I have to add over there? Could you please explain on that part?
Okay, so how is the market like? Are you getting job opening on product analyst?
No, actually I got one, but not that completed.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that JD was also not particularly into product analyst. It was aligning with as an BA. So
Yeah.
I was not sure. Yeah,
So currently you are working as?
a business analyst.
Okay. So internally there is no way to move into product management?
No.
Okay. So I don't think I have ever come across a job description which says a product analyst, require a product analyst. Okay, so you need to see the job description. My first suggestion to you is to see the job description which has, as a product manager or an APM, is actually asking to do more deep dive into data, that good hands-on in SQL, no SQL, or any kind of a more. The job description is actually emphasizing on analyzing more data, right? Though the job description will come as a product management, but you need to read the job description and figure out that how much emphasis they are putting on the analytical part. If you found that kind of a job application headed named as a product manager, go and apply for it, and then accordingly back your resume with your data points. But
Okay.
this
Also
would be,
nowadays,
you have to read
yeah.
with that.
Okay, and this product analyst or product manager JDs are having the JD which is completely analytical. They will looking into more like coding. So is that mandatory to have that skills like Python, R, and all?
It depends upon the company to company, like they are really looking it for or not. But if they are looking it for, then certainly you need to do some kind of an coding to pull out data again, like Python or something should be done. So that is not all job description. If there is a 10 job description, if you see, maybe one will ask for this particular kind of a skill, not all. That's what I have seen mostly.
Okay, so I just want to have a final conclusion. As a BA, there is a chance of moving to PM, right? Because more like client interactions, understanding the
Yeah, so as a
project.
business analyst, you can directly move into product management externally also. But since your skills are into data analysis, right, and finding out the real kind of an data, at that point of time, you need to figure out the job descriptions in under product management, that which are the job descriptions are emphasizing on data part. Nobody will come and tell you that I need a business analyst for a product manager role. But in the job description, if you read, they will actually call those out very specifically. And if you book an 101, I can just show you how to figure that out. Okay.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Cool. Last, Akhil, go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't have a question. In fact, have something to say, because like anybody who is transitioning to PM, we all are very insecure. in the early days. Actually, first let me tell you about my background. I was a startup founder that did not turn out well, so I was looking to get into product management, and that's when Avik stepped in. So I started my job hunt from April. I was getting interview calls, but I wasn't able to get through them. So in June 2024, I contacted Avik. I did book. First of all, we did a single session. He told me how it works and everything. Then we booked a one-on-one, and that was really helpful. Getting into product management is easy. Just you need to show the interviewer that you have that product mindset. And I think Abhik's one-on-one really helps in that particular area, where he brings out the product mindset from your existing background. So that's where Abhik shines, and he's the best hand holder in the industry. He will go to the lens to help you secure your job or whatever goal you want from him. So he is my mentor at the moment.
Thank you, Akhil. Thank you for saying this loud. Yes, I have helped Akhil at that point in time, but I must say that Akhil also has that intensity of learning as well as understanding, and the level of frustration dealing that need to be gone through, need to be handled well, because any interview, first thing you need to have a clear mindset. And for Akhil, one of the biggest challenges was he was having the pipeline of interviews, he was not able to crack it, and that is where the mindset building helped. And thank you, Akhil, for pitching in and
Yeah, just
saying
wanted to
kudos.
help
This is
everybody
really-
because we all are really insecure before we get into that role. And after we get into that role, we really understand, okay, how that works. And but someone needs to tell you, yeah, what are your strongest points and how you need to showcase that.
Yeah, guys, just utilize one-on-one if you have any problem, because the questions that you are asked is very specific to you, and in one-on-ones I can able to help you out. Okay, thank you. Can we set up a mock interviews with you? In the feedback form I have asked for a session request, like what kind of a session you want. So just give a feedback and then probably we can set up something like that. Now quickly move, because we are almost have 5 minutes more to go. So let's talk about the portfolio, right? So how you will build a portfolio, my bad. What is portfolio? Portfolio is something where you showcase your work, you showcase that what you have the necessary skills to become a product manager. More important, you also say what is the product thinking, right? And finally, showcasing your passion for product management, right? So that's why this portfolio helps. And somebody asked me in this slide, like I am like I think Meghna was there, right? So Meghna asked, like, how can I showcase I am a BA, right? So how can I showcase that I can move into PM, and that is this product portfolio will able to help you out. Let's move into the next slide and understand quickly, like how a portfolio looks like. Just give me a moment. So I'll take one of the portfolio of Ishita. So Ishita built this portfolio into designfolio.me, and I want to tell that Designfolio has really came up very good on building portfolio. So anybody wants to build a portfolio, try to use designfolio.me, because you can see the experience and the look and feel of this, right? How beautiful it looks. So let's take Ishita's portfolio. Now Ishita is clearly saying that UX and agile driven product manager, so mostly kind of coming from a designer background and wanted to become a product center, like. And then there is a section where she is highlighting user centric, data driven, efficient learner, UX focused manager. So this slide actually helping to get a quick introduction of Ishita, who she is and what she has done and what are her strengths. So this is what the portfolio does. And then there is some work, right? Subscription and billing management dashboard, or M-Paisa redesigning the product, increased user acquisition, right? Now again, these are all contents, but the depth it goes, it tells you that whether you have a product, like how beautiful is your product thinking or the product senses, right? So Now, for anybody, like any recruiter or any hiring manager is quite interested with you, they must visit this site or website, and then actually read through this document. The first thing is I want to tell is that this write-up, right, it should be again a hook. There should be some hook, right, that make them to click and get into that. So that is one thing. And now let's quickly see how she has built this product thing. So it actually starts with like redesigning the old app, fix decrease MAU and reuse it. So this is a problem statement. I'm so sorry, my bad. This is a problem statement that can be hypothetically built or maybe given as a work, which I generally give in my assignments mostly. That this is a problem statement like the app, the UX part of the app is not that great. Can you build the UX part in which you can increase your monthly user activities or daily active users, right? And in that sense, right, like she has started written like what is M-Pesa, problem statement, increasing trust in RMG industry by creating application, then primary challenges, what was the main research, now objective and reason to redesign. So again, this is where she is actually telling the objective to understand user and everything, who, when, what, where, why. Again, the user research part she has did it. So this will actually give us a sense that how you break down the problem statement and how you actually raise to this point. So this is a kind of a portfolio that you should build. I will share one of my students' portfolio, Gaurav's. So he has built in Wix. Okay, he has built in Wix, and again the case study is improve user journey for Pepperfry, right? So he has actually went ahead and created the kind of a user journey for. So in this, like he has started with an overview. Like this is very, very important, guys. Many of the people doesn't do that, but an overview helps us to determine whether I should read the below thing or not. This PRD outlines the current user journey of customer making purchases and of purchases on Pepperfry, identifies limitation, proposes enhancement aimed at increasing AOV. Now, what is the problem statement? The current user journey on Pepperfry presents opportunity for improvement and maximization. So, okay, this is a very high level problem statement. And then the objectives, and then the discovery part. So he has actually mentioned this thing very well, like how the discovery happens and everything, and hovering over categories and everything. So a deep research has been done, then again coming back into solution, right? And then going into the attention grabbers, banners and everything. So this is a kind of a research that you have to do, and I'll show you how you can build it and what should be the frequency of doing this kind of case studies and how you can build it. So let's get back to this website, because if I go on explaining this portfolio and go in depth, it will take another hour or so. So I'm a little bit fast over here. Okay. So first thing, what should I showcase mostly, right, in portfolios? So first thing first, my request is showcase your experience. Very important. Showcase your experience, like where you have worked. If you suppose, I think Harsh, you have worked on as a product owner, right? So when you build this kind of a portfolio pages, try to include the problem statement that you have really worked on that particular company as a product owner, right? Now that will actually help you that will bring in more trust, right? But again, check if this is allowed from the company. If it is not allowed,
that is the problem, right? Like I worked on a lot of in-house strategies for recommendation engines, algorithms for basically we were a hiring platform for blue collar and grey collar workforce, right? So like some things I cannot put out there. The things
absolutely.
But they had large impact, like 20 NPS points improvements. So those large impacts I can mention, but probably putting out the details of how we broke down the problem and actually solved it might not be something I can put out there. So that's somewhat of a gray area.
Correct. So that's what, again, that's the caveat I have put it. So this is the first point. If you're building a portfolio, build this kind of a thing where you have actually worked, but again, check if it is allowed. If it is not allowed, do not. If you're doing a side project or internship, you can put it. Again, this is also have a, you need to check if you can put it or not. If you can, put it, because this will build immediate trust, because you are working in that company, you are working in a real problem statement, and then you are building up this. Now these 2 points are basically hypothetical. Okay, so how it is hypothetical is like, okay, let's take one of the thing like Zomato wants to increase the AOV, average order value, is a hypothetical statement, right? And then you as a aspiring PM actually go and do the research, figure out what is the current situation, and if you have to increase the AOV, what are the bridges, how many bridges are there, right? And how can you do it, what is the customers. I'll tell you how to write the flow. I think I have that slide. No, okay, I think I haven't. No, I'll just move. So so it generally start with the problem statement in a portfolio. So I'll just quickly clear this. It'll generally start with the problem statement, right? User persona, then kind of an user persona, then kind of an current market analysis. Then you go with a kind of an prioritization, like kind of an solutions, right? Options, always give 2-3 options, option 1, 2, 3, and the pros and cons for this both options when you are suggesting a solution, right? And then you can always write like out of these solutions or maybe use cases, which one you want to prioritize first and what is your opinion. So at the end of the thing is a low opinion. So suggest if anybody want to have a deep dive session on particularly in building a portfolio, I can certainly take that. Share the feedback in the feedback form, and then we can take it. I can certainly take it. Okay, so this is how you build a portfolio, but make showcase that you have a problem identification shift. Okay, you have I have do a problem identification, improvement, prioritization, and production. So that will actually help you to understand that, okay, if I'm betting on somebody who is not coming from a product manager background, how much percentage I can win on that. So let me give you a little bit background of a hiring manager thought process, because I have also hired people. First thing, as a hiring manager, I will always look out for people whom I have to spend less time to ramp up as a hiring manager. And this is telling from my personal experience being a hiring manager and hiring teams, building teams. So I will always look, this is my first, because this is for my benefit, and I will be selfish here because I don't want to spend with somebody who will take 6 to say 1 year time to ramp up. I don't have that time because I have goals to achieve, I have things to deliver, I have optics to manage, and I need somebody who can ramp up as fast as within maybe 90 days maximum, not more than that. So now if you are transitioning from a different background to a PM, right, I have to bet on you. Supposedly I am hiring for a product manager, I have to take a bet on you, right? Now to take a bet on you that whether you will be able to justify within 90 days or not, before even I take your interviews, I'll try to see where you are. If supposedly I get agreed to hire somebody from a other background to PM, I have to see where you are. Now when I look into your portfolio, I will make sense. I'll make a sense that, okay, looks like he or she knows what it is. So I may have to spend some time. Based on the portfolio, I'll make a certain judgment about you guys. Okay, and I'm sorry I'm using the word judgment because I have to hire you, so I need to judge whether you are fit or not, right? So I'll make a judgment. If this judgment goes ahead, say 6%, like, okay, I take a bet on you. call for an interview. Then you get an interview call, not early that. Okay, so this is a hiring manager thought process, and this is my thought process when I was a hiring manager, and that's how I generally will try to help you all understanding that. Okay, I'll just take a pause just to check the kind of an interest part from you guys. Are you guys bored, or it is helping you? Just a quick yes, no, absolutely good, bad. Please go ahead and comment so that I also feel little energetic.
Vic, today's session was very interesting. Honestly, I'm loving the session.
Thank you. Yesterday was boring now.
No, yesterday's session for me, it was like I know it, but today you've covered like personal for me things that I don't know, so it was very insightful for me, especially that I love the case studies and the way you said hiring managers mindset and even the portfolio like design folio that you showed. I think I really learned a lot of things today.
Great, good. Just wait for another 15-20 minutes. It might extend for next 10 minutes more than 10, so that you get the things right. Yes, Rupinder, go ahead, ask me.
Yep. So thank you so much for all the insights that you've given in the 2 days workshop. And I just have one question. Since I'm trying to go from APM to PM role, so my main question is, since I've worked on all the projects, I'm writing about metrics in detail in my resume as well. But the main thing lagging right now is either the organizations are asking for a PM who has 5+ years of experience in the product management itself, and the APMs are just asking for the 1 or 2 years of experience. That's it. But I have like in the middle, like 3 years of experience. So I'm not able to understand, either I'm less qualified for the PM role or overqualified for the APM role. So what should I do in my resume so that I can showcase my work more efficiently, because I'm already writing down the metrics and all the data points that I've done in my projects. So what should I do for that?
To be very honest, like did you get any call?
I have got calls for senior PM level as well, but I am not able to convert those. There are several reasons for that. Number one is either the budget is not matching, or they're not giving me hike on my current salary, or the budget is too low. So there are several other reasons that some other candidates.
What role you are working now?
I am currently APM. So there are talks in my organization as well to promote me to the PM level, but I'm still not sure if that would happen based on the market standards and all those things. So my target was to either move out of the current and then get a new one outside, or then maybe try for another senior PM.
I can certainly tell you one of the blocker for you, or a kind of a thing, is your package. I don't know your package, but if you are being selected for senior product manager, from APM to senior product manager, then maybe your storytelling is too good, to be very honest. Okay. And second, when you are talking about the package, that can be one of the blocker as well.
But my current, because I come from project management background, I transitioned internally into PM role. So you know that as compared to PM roles, the project side is little less. So my current package is not up to the mark, even not meeting the APM standards. So I think that can be one of the reasons, or is there something else apart from the salary point of view?
So one thing can be possible that did you give any interviews? Because I found that you have given.
I have given certain interviews till the last round. So I got answers that they would be getting back to me in 2-3 days, and
you didn't got it. So you didn't got any ideal feedback, right?
No.
Where you lag and something. So can you just tell like how many rounds it have happened? Like 1.
So for the senior PM level, there were 3 rounds. One was HR round, and then 2 were technical, like understanding what projects I worked upon, and then asking some case studies. And then for the PM role, I had prepared one presentation, and then 2 roles were there, one with the technical team and one was with the CEO team. And then for APM as well, I gave certain rounds. I think that was clearly the salary part, so I can ignore the APM. But these two were like I'm not able to understand where did I lag.
So if you have gone 2 rounds, okay, maybe 3 rounds in this senior PM role, you certainly did something good in these 2 rounds to move into the last round. Okay. That is for sure. Right now, I'm not sure how much you are analyzing your data since you are a PM. So I suggest everybody to take your career as a product manager also. So if you analyze the data in these interviews, you will see what you have done good here, and certainly there is something that you have missed here. Maybe when you are talking with some senior team members, which can be a CEO or a very senior manager or a say VP or a director in the last round, somewhere the storytelling has not got matched, and that's why maybe this got blocked.
So for the last round in the senior PM role was the projects that I worked, which I already communicated in the previous rounds, and it was just this discussion. I'm not sure if it was kind of a behavioral judgment they did,
yes,
but
cultural fitment is last round has mostly happened upon your cultural fitment.
But it was only, they were only asking about the projects that I worked upon and how did I calculate all those metrics part. Like I honestly told them, I know that we have to be little diplomatic on the way what has been mentioned in the JD, and then we have to turn our answers around that. But still, I know about all these things. I've been doing it for a long time. But yeah, I still am not sure where did I lag in that round.
So I think the first thing, the problem with the last round it happened that it was more of a fitment round basically. Kind of a cultural round, like how better you fit within the teams, and a slightest way of a stress test has happened with you where you missed it. So that can be a possibility, but
sorry, what is the last point?
Stress test. I'm writing down here.
Stress test. Okay, I heard it for the first time. Okay.
Yeah. So so I'll explain you like what it is, but not now. It is a big thing. Right? I have other people.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Sakshi, go ahead.
Yes, hi Abhik. Wonderful session so far. Loved all your insights. So I just have two quick questions. One is, while I'm a developer in the semiconductor industry, and I want to move into a product manager role, like most people. I have 4 years of experience. So what if I have to build my portfolio, say today, how many case studies are good enough for me to apply to an APM or PM1 position?
Okay, so my suggestion on the case study building is that every week you should do at least one.
Okay.
Don't target that I have to achieve 10 case studies or 12 case studies, because if I am a hiring manager and if I am looking into your portfolio, I will hardly look into 1 or 2. So if you put 2 case study very well defined and very well written, it is suffice for me. Okay, so there is no hard and fast like you need to build 3, 4 and multiple and things, not required. But every week, everyone who is aspiring to move into PM, I suggest them pick up a case study. If you don't have a case study, join my WhatsApp group, ping there, I'll give you a case study to work on. You can build take 1 week to a in-depth research and do it. And if you want to partner with somebody, that's very good, because you can't do everything, right? And if you partner with, and if you showcase that I have partnered with XYZ and build this also showcase as a hiring manager to me that you are not doing in silo, right? You are also making a kind of a team effort, right? So this also comes up, but it's very, very kind of a I would say what we'll call like a picky kind of a thing, very picky. Like if I am the hiring manager, I would love this point. Somebody may not look into this point also.
Okay.
So it's again picky, but the case study overall, if you have, it will help. So my suggestion is every week 1 case study you all should solve. It's like a medicine prescription type to build a product thing. Okay, and a sense, right? And then build, at least do it, because once you start doing it, you will keep loving it even if you don't get a job.
Right.
because it's beautiful thing. I love it to do it.
Yeah, that's there. And another thing that I wanted to ask was, so usually the case studies that are out there are like improving the user experience or something like that. If you were to solve any other problem other than that, which requires like market sizing or more company data, usually it's not out there, it's not public most of the times. So how do you get your hands on data, or you just have to assume and move on?
So this is the slide that if you could see, I have like, you need to figure out a pinpoint, right? That you, or a problem statement, right? So if you have a problem statement, then you know what need to be deep dive, right? Or you have to go deeper into, right? Now once you understand the problem statement, once you need to go into a deeper, then these are the way. If you have to do a research, these are all free tools. Statista gives you a certain limited data, but gives enough data to build a certain hypothesis. Market research, Nielsen, Gartner, NSC report, BSC reports, eMarketer will actually help you to research about the market sizing. This is basically help you to research the market sizing. And this slide is actually talking about it. Guys, if you want, you can take a screenshot of it. Customer feedbacks, if you really want to know how the product is been treated in the with the customer, like for example, if you're doing a case study onto a particular app, say Crate, go into Glassdoor, go into Crate company, okay, and check their feedback, employee feedback. Many will be shouting, many will be loving it, many will be doing that, so you'll understand the company culture. Go into X, check on their Twitter link, like how in my case studies I have picked up the feedback from the people, right? So go into LinkedIn, search for Cred and Cred post, and you can see. Go into Reddit, look into search for it, App Store, see the App Store rating and everything. Trustpilot, Google it. So you can actually get the customer feedback from their market research from this website. Competitor analysis, you can actually go into a competitor website and actually see what are the products that they are actually building, right? What are the Google trends? This is a free tool. Keywords, free tool. Ads library, free tool. Uber Suggest is again a free thing. It's something called a similar web. Like you can see the traffic, from where the traffic is coming into this website.
Okay.
If you want to do a real survey, right? Like I think, guys, I have already given the Google feedback form. Just fill it up because with this Google form I remember that. So fill this form, guys, because it's almost 10 and I'll take another 15 minutes to close this. So please fill your form and you will get a link to book a one-on-one with me. Google Forms, and then where to build a portfolio. So you need to build a portfolio. My suggestion is use Design Folio. The look and feel is very good. Notion is another, and the Wix website is a little tricky until you are quite pro with the tech part. I would suggest to stick with Notion or Design Folio. Okay, and survey. So this is the kind of a cheat sheet.
Okay.
Take a problem statement, you can go into every part of this.
Okay,
Yeah.
just one more quick question before I close this. So, when you're building these problem statements or case studies, so when I'm going to apply for an APM role, I'm very company agnostic or industry agnostic at this point. So, am I supposed to have some role in mind, a specific B2B or B2C company, and build portfolios on that, and then apply to those specific companies? Will that increase my chances, or it doesn't?
Mostly yes. So there is a rule, like you need to always funnel things, right? So you start with a broader spectrum, then you slowly go into a particular funnel, because you cannot work in all the sector, build portfolio in all the sector, right? Like it's good to build portfolio in all the sectors when you are an aspiring, but when you are actually sending the portfolio link, then figure out which industry it's suited for and send that portfolio only there.
Okay.
Right? Don't showcase all the portfolio and send the list. Like, don't get lazy there. Just make those changes and send the portfolio if it is industry. So if you are targeting a particular industry, it's better to do some case study on that industry first and then on the other industry.
Okay, got it.
Okay?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Last question, Kopal.
Hello, hey, hi, Abhi.
Hey,
Great.
hi.
Yeah. So I had one question regarding
the portfolio which is for data analysis. So for example, if I want to do a data analysis side project, which is quite relevant to APM roles, so what would you suggest? Like I'm trying to do one on customer segmentation, but I'm like lost on how to get started. Like I've picked up the data, but I'm not sure how should I approach it, because it's like dummy data, but at the same time I want to make something that is easy to read and could be perceived in a better way, rather than just it's just a project on GitHub.
Okay, Gopal, can I suggest this, because this is very specific question and you already have the data. I would like to know the data before I suggest something. Can
Yeah.
we take it in our one-on-one discussion if you book a slot with me?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Okay guys, now I'll take the resume building part. And before I resume building, can I do a little bit of plug that if somebody goes ahead and share out today's session in LinkedIn, please tag me, tag Jennifer, so to give a shout out in LinkedIn that how you love this session about. It would be really helpful for me to get more people in this kind of boot camps who can get real value. How many of you would like to do this? Nobody? No hands up, no yes. Okay, only 2 people. Great, cool. So that would be really helpful, because this is something that will also help me to reach out to more people. That's why I'm requesting, and I'm very upfront. I am not a sales guy or marketing guy. That's not a problem, Somi, right? You can subtle way, you can actually tell what you have done it. Great. So I'll look for Anjali, Suruchi, Sakshi, Somi, give a try, Ashwati, Raghav, Yogeshwar, Gopal. I'll look for some insight in LinkedIn tomorrow. Cool. So in the resume building session, right? So this is a resume building, and I'll be going a little faster, and it is very, very high level. But if you all need, I can go in deeper. So first thing first, messages stand out by your content, not design. I don't love flashy with a photograph here and everything here, right? I believe since Akhil has already told out, Akhil has also came up with that kind of a resume where he has put up his photograph and written everything. I said, bro, I don't like this, so please remove it. It's not about how beautiful looks like, here there is a column and goes listing here and all those. Don't do those flashy things. Keep it very simple, very, very simple. Like this resume kind of tells like what you have done and everything, right? So keep it by your content, not design. Don't think design. Product is an impact driven job. Make sure when you say impact, here is the impact result, right? By 30%. I can share you the templates later on. Once you fill up the Google form, I'll get the details and I'll mail you those details. So focus storytelling. So I would rather say focus on storytelling rather than telling that, hey, I can do design, I can do data, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Don't do this. Focus on storytelling. Like for me, my CV is mostly focused into fintech. So if I apply for my job, I will always say in my summary that I am a fintech product manager. So I tag myself as a fintech because I have already worked in my finance years for 8 years and the remaining years in fintech products. So if I say I'm a growth product manager in my summaries, I'll be not justifying myself as well. I'll never able to crack the interview when I get selected. Right? So that specific focus storytelling. Right? Okay. Cool. Then do not prepare one size. This is something, guys, I found so many of my student and also people, they prepare only one resume and they apply that single resume to every job. How many of you do this? Come on, be honest here. Okay, how many of you do this? Harish, Harsh does. Only Harsh does. Rest, what others? Please ping yes, guys. Yes, no. Please ping. Okay, Harsh, Sakshi. No, good. No, good. Yes, don't do this. Right, guys, don't do this because every role. Okay, forget about product role. This is not for product role. This line is not for product role. Even for any BA role or something, be pinpoint focused. What we call it, like pinpoint, right? Laser focus. We call it. I remember the word. Laser focus. Be laser focused on the job description. Job description is something that you should read at least 10 times and then update the CV. I'll tell you how to do this. How to create a way so that you are not sending a little easy way to build CVs for each and every job descriptions. Okay. Okay. So before I tell that, like, what would be your writing style, right? So this is a particular line from my CV, and technically I think I mixed up. Okay, so I'll just tell that write every role or resume. So when I say role, I mean to say each every line, right? So every line in this way, right? Conducted detailed user research. What you did. Seamlessly integrated the tech architecture with external OEMs. And then the result is I have removed the dollar impact. I have written it X impact, but this is the impact: automated X million global billing. Right? What is the background? To map out billing module workflow. Right? I did a kind of an user research to map out billing module and then seamlessly integrate. So every line should this. Remember this thing, right? Remember this thing. A medium sentence is better than a shorter sentence. A shorter sentence are better than a very sentences. Medium sentences wins. People would love to read it. Long sentences, if you write a kind of an very long sentences, they will not read it, right? So you break the flow. So if you see, is this pointer is good? Like, do you all like this point? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. No, okay. Okay, cool. So try to write your CV in this pointers so that people can understand. Okay, sometimes people like spearheaded XYZ and generated revenue this million or this dollars. That's very good. Like, you spearheaded XYZ, I understood, and you generated revenue, but how? That I cannot figure out as a hiring manager. So it looks like that you went to ChatGPT and asked them to build it, and then they have done it.
So
Right.
a question here. So like for me or maybe someone who works on some confidential projects, especially consultants too, and we don't also know the execution part. So how do we show the numbers there?
Here is an example. Impacted X millions. If you are putting some numbers, or you can subtle way to say ki won 3 clients.
Okay.
Right? So you can always say X million and others, and this you don't need to write in the CV that why you have written X millions, why it is not quantified. But there is it gives a sense that okay, there are certain impact she has done, but she's not trying to disclose it. Okay, fair enough. Let's bring her into interview and check on that. Okay, so this is where you write. Yeah, action verb, you can use conducted, you can use spearheaded. There are many action verbs. You can use it. You can start with an action verb or something. Like, always start with an action verb. That's what I felt helped to judge you much better or quicker. XYZ method of resume. Is that the Powell method you are referring to, Swami? Swami, I could not get your question. XYZ method of resume. Okay, cool. I'll move ahead. Okay, I think, yeah, this is the last slide. So resume building checklist. So now this is a kind of a template that I would love everyone to use. Let's first understand this template, and then I'll tell you what are the 4 or 5 things that you should always make sure that your CV is there, and the kind of how you can create one single area and then you can create multiple CV from there. So see the resume template. It's your name, okay, email, phone number, LinkedIn URL. Instead of LinkedIn URL, you can also give a portfolio URL, and then it is not necessary to write city, state or country, but if you want you can write it. And if you are from a top tier institute, try to maintain it, because sometimes hiring manager get quite happy if they can easily identify you that you are from a top tier. But that's not a mandatory thing. But if you're passed out from a top tier to like IIMs or IITs, just write it. Then this section is very, very important. This is like your summary, and this is kind of an elevator pitch about you. Because remember, I'll highlight a part of this area of your CV. This area of your CV will be absolutely read 100%. Everybody will read 100% of this, then slowly it will read this section, right? So if I'm spending 1 minute on 1 minute is too much, maybe like 30 seconds to 1 minute in a resume, I will absolutely read your summary. I'll read this, and if I will made up mind within here whether I should call you for an interview or not. So what you write here and this area is something help you get sorted in getting more calls. So that is what in my interview preparation building classes I generally teach, like how to write these things, this area need to update it for each job application. Supposedly if the job is looking for a data analyst, like a data product manager, right, then write in one sentence what you have done here and everything, and then that data point should also come here as a kind of a sentence. Then I can relate, okay, if you're claiming yourself is a very good data analyst, okay, I see here that you have really made an impact on it, let's call it, right? So that's the one. So remember this thing, guys, that this area of your CV will always be read 100%. Even somebody spending 10 seconds will absolutely read this line at least 1, 2, 3 minimum. So this is your area to sell yourself. You always do like month. Okay, you all know A/B testing, right? So the Facebook banner should be like this, so that I get a click here, or the click button should be here to generate this. This is where your A/B testing in your CV is. This is where you should always do A/B testing. Apply product in your job search. You will get result faster. Okay, now quickly moving into, is this good, guys? Should I move into the checklist?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So create the base template. Okay, create something like this. Okay, and write all the, like here it is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, right? If you're working in a particular job role, and if you remember around 20 things you have done, list it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, go ahead and then build it. Let this list go a kind of a dumping ground. Make a dumping ground of all the activities that you have done, and you can tell story about it. Don't put anything which you haven't worked. Things that you have worked, it can be as small impact as, okay, because you sent an email, some task has got prioritized. Okay, that also you should document here. right? So create a single point and keep it in Google Shared Drive or something like that, and write every point. For this also, like, go at act bigger. Like, so for my student, this goes up till like 30 lines, 40 lines. Okay. Because they take around 1 week to dump all the things, because you need to sit, think what you have done for the last 2 years or 3 years in each of the job role, and write each and every point. So it takes 1 week for them to write and create that dumping. I call a dump your all work in that particular, but it is in the same format that is written in that particular dumping ground. You don't write this point, you keep a space for it, but you don't write this point, but everything should be similar. Now what happens when you get a job description, when you get a job, you like the job description, everything, and you found that, okay, I have done this, this looks like quite a good match. Then you come into the dumping ground wala zone. Okay, and then in the dumping ground wala zone, you have to actually start picking up those lines. So for example, if the job description matches with this line, pick it up. If this line, pick it up. Make at least 4 to 5 pointers for the first row. Okay, for the next row onwards, you can keep it minimum 3 to 5, and try to put it within 1 pager, no 2 pager. Even my 17 years of experience come in 1 pager, but I have the liberty to go into 2 page, but I still keep it in 1 pager. But somebody within 0 to 5 years experience, my suggestion is to keep it within 1 pager. Decisions to hire you can be made. I think customize based on the specific role. I have already explained this. Optimize, I have actually written it. This is like a repetition. Optimize for AI managed ATS system. So what happens when you apply a job? I'll tell you the background. So there are systems called ICMS. Now there is a KK HR. Then there would be many ATS systems are there, right? ICMS is there. I think I remember a few of them. Okay, so these are the ATS systems. So what they will do, the recruiter will load the job here and give certain criteria, or even in LinkedIn, the recruiter will reach here and give a criteria. Now, based on this criteria, this job will get posted in LinkedIn, Shine, Naukri, all the job portals. Okay. Now, when you apply for this job, this system will actually look for these fields that the recruiter has told and shortlist your CV. So suppose the job has like 95% match with your role, but you don't know what are these fields that the recruiter has given, and you applied and you do not have these fields, your CV will get rejected by these systems directly, right? So that's why, to optimize this, there are tools. So there are tools like Resume Worded who can help you to do this. Then there are other tools also. I generally use currently I'm using ChatGPT with the prompts and everything. It helps to cross out through the ATS system. Resume Worded, you can do it for 1 or 3 times, is free. Rest you have to pay it, but you can pay it and just check it and make sure that it is ATS friendly. They will only suggest it that it is ATS friendly or not. If not, then you need a little bit of a more calculative, because I generally applied for job, I have hired, so I know I can match it, so I can quickly do it through a ChatGPT or help my student to build it through ChatGPT. But if you don't have that kind of go and sign up with Resume Worded, take their free version and make it friendly. That's all, guys, for today. Yes, correct, Suruchi. Okay, so that's all from my side today. I have taken more and more questions, but I hope you all felt the form and given me feedback.